Okay. We streaming now. We should be streaming. Hello. Well, welcome aboard. Thank you for joining me live today. Since I did my last live, some of my subscribers said, well, it's too late on the East Coast. It's getting pretty late. So today I tried to do it a little bit earlier here. So the Pacific PST time, Pacific Standard Time, is now 6:30, and I hope you guys on the East Coast can still manage to see me. Uh, yeah, and somehow I'm using the OBS because I'm using a different camera setup. I'm not using a webcam. I couldn't like do a countdown thing, but on the community board, I wrote down like 6:30 uh, PST time that I'm going to do a live and a date. So if you guys manage to see that, I hope you guys can check it out. So I hope all of you guys are well, and yeah, everything is in Hong Kong is very very sad. A lot of people are really scared now because they don't know what's going on. And let me talk a little bit about the government of Hong Kong. Government of Hong Kong kind of like um, there's like one country, two systems, right? So Hong Kong has their own rule of law and stuff like that, right? But and the protest and everything like that, and now everything breaking down, uh, the law, it's just very sad. So now the government kind of relies on the mainland, the central government. So every time they will say, "Oh well, we're going to make something," but we have to listen to the what the central government says. Uh, so Hong Kong is very indecisive. So the citizens of Hong Kong, like, they're tired of guessing what's going on. Hey Jesse, nice to meet you. Uh, Long time no see you. Last time I was just so sudden on my life. Yeah, great you're here today. Jesse is my good old pal. He does my administration here. He's take cares of my comments and all that. Not much people has joined now, but hopefully later on uh, we can join. Hey, Daredevil, 1985. How are you doing, my friend? Welcome aboard. Yeah, and firstly, I really want to um, I really appreciate that the beginning of the month that someone made a large donation on my Patreon. I mean, seriously, I was really touched, and it just gives me this motivation. I just got to do more for you guys, and just put it this way, I got like over a year's payment on just one guy dropping down a donation to support my work. So he did more than 1 year's payment on just one shot on my Patreon, and this is just so amazing, and I'm just really touched. And thank you very much for supporting my Patreon, because Patreon really means much to me. Like for my channel, I'll probably get like a couple of dollars for my work, and plus, I'm running through this depression, all that, and it's just I've kind of been blowing this off, and you know, I still, I'm human. I'm just like you guys. There's my ups and downs and all that, but let me tell you, this has been a rough ride for me. So, you know, again, thank you very much for the Patreon support, and they didn't go on a tier basis. That guy just put in a lump sum, and that lump sum just it's an overkill, put it this way. So appreciate it so much. You're awesome, and just give me more energy, more hope's eye for myself and for the channel to keep on going strong and give you more news what's going on. Yes, Daredevil, I'm in British Columbia now. uh, you know living in Canada is really different living to the States. Like, BC is really uptight on the COVID still compared to the other provinces like Ontario, Quebec, and I think more other, Alberta, because here they still have really strict restrictions. Like you still have to wear your mask indoors. You have to show your when you go to a restaurant, you still have to show your vaccination record, take a picture and stuff like that. It's like semi Hong Kong-ish, semi Hong Kong-ish. Yeah, so that's really scared. Yes, near start 10. Hong Kong has 500,000 COVID-19 positive. Yes, you're right. It's crazy. Like uh, now, one day there are like over 10,000 infections, new infections. Okay, and Hong Kong was pretty proud of their zero COVID status, a few months ago. But now it's like 15,000, and I think it's going to be 20,000 cases. So that's going to be really scary. Yeah, so uh, let me talk about the panic buying in Hong Kong. It was crazy. Uh, all It's like people all rushed into the supermarket to get all the foods, just to clear out the supermarkets, and it was crazy. And then the government says, "Oh, don't worry, don't panic. There's plenty of supplies." That's what we heard on the first wave, right? But the thing is, the shelves aren't really stocked up now. So let me tell you one of the main reasons they went panic buying for everything. Number one, the slaughterhouses. So your meat, chicken, pork, and the beef usually mostly comes from mainland China. So they are fresh, they are live stock. So they come to Hong Kong and they get slaughtered in Hong Kong after they did the safety inspection, the health inspection and all that. So if they're healthy, they can go to the slaughterhouses, they get slaughtered. And then the meat will be distributed around Hong Kong. But the thing is, one of these um, slaughterhouses, two slaughterhouses in Hong Kong, the staff there, the workers, have COVID positive. So they shut down the whole slaughterhouse. So meat will be a very, very limited supply because the news went out that two slaughterhouses have been shut down already. So everybody's saying, hey, what's going on? They have to go and get slaughterhouses. So that was really sad, man. Yeah, let me answer the question. Loosening restrictions here in a little bit South Ontario. Yes, yeah, that's what I heard. Your Premier Ford. Um, I hear the news from the East Coast. They're really, slowly relaxing everything. But BC seems to be uptight about everything. Uh, I don't know, is it a good thing or bad thing? You guys have to tell me. But I think when I talk to my friends in Hong Kong, first thing they'll say, "Oh yeah, North America, they are doing like they're letting everybody, trying to avoid it. But if people get, coronavirus, they'll get immunity. So they're working on the crowd immunity. Plus, of course, you have your vaccine. So they're doing the crowd immunity. But in Hong Kong, they're not going this way. They're going for just zero COVID. You can't get COVID. If you have COVID, you have to be isolated, right? So I think Hong Kong hardly anybody got COVID before. So now the immunity rate is very, very, very low. And plus, in Hong Kong, you have a choice of doing the Sinovac, the virus, or like the Pfizer or the Moderna. But studies show, I'm not making this up, but study shows the Sinovac is the Chinese virus. It's not really effective, not really that effective against coronavirus. So that might be a problem too. So now, oh dear, that's very sad. So I'll read your comments when this is mad. Awa, this is really crazy. Hong Kong, there's no end to it. We don't see any end. Neil start. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, and one more thing. And then the first thing, they were just raiding all the supermarkets. The second thing they're raiding in Hong Kong now is the COVID test kits. So everybody is just rushing. Sham Shui Po area, the electronic market of Hong Kong, they're having like pallets of a coronavirus test that you do at home to check are you positive. So those tests are going up in price, obviously, because there's a high demand. But the sad thing is there are a lot of fakes. So they have the opportunity to sell these kits, but it's fake kits. Okay, so anyways, I did my preview on this channel like before, and I posted some pictures on my Patreon. So my members can, if you haven't, my members, patrons can take a look at those pictures that I post on there. Yeah. Jess, hope the Smithfield food pork shipment in US will get them fast. And yeah, because you know I'm used to frozen meat, frozen food is all right, but Hong Kong people are really picky. They like fresh food. So like my kids always laugh. They wanna when you see this the chicken running around, and next thing, like when we visit China, next thing you know they're in the kitchen. So these they call free range chickens, so they run around. But it tastes really different. The chicken meat is more intense, but usually when I eat a fresh chicken like that, you don't I don't really like the breast meat because it's really chewy. And the way they chop the chicken is different. They do in the West. So in Asia, when they chop like a chicken leg, they just go chop 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 like that, and you're supposed to just put the whole thing in your mouth and just take the bones out, right? So it's a completely different thing. Oh, in Poland you can get for $2. Oh, that's awesome. In Hong Kong, you probably have to pay like 100 times more since everybody's going, insane. So first point I mentioned is the supermarket. Slaughterhouses are shut down. The second thing is people, this fighting over this panic buying on these test kits. And the third thing is the government says at first they're spreading rumors. Okay, they're spreading rumors saying that the government is going the whole Hong Kong is going to be under lockdown. So, what do you guys mean by whole city is going to be locked down? It means that you're going to be locked into your house or your apartment, so you can't even basically go downstairs. So that because as I said before, uh, Hong Kong government is following the mainland Chinese how they're doing it. So they are going for the lockdown. So later on, I'll mention what's going on in Shenzhen because I have friends in Shenzhen and they're giving me reports what's going on too. So now, and another rumor, okay, that's one of the rumors going around. So people are panicking and everything. They're not willing to go out, scared to go out. Even yeah. So now all the restaurant, like chain restaurants in Hong Kong, they decided to shut down completely. So they're all suspending their businesses in Hong Kong. Yeah. So the rule was, as I mentioned before, after 6 o'clock p.m., you're not allowed to eat inside the restaurant. But now the media or the people, like when you live in Hong Kong, you see every time you turn on the internet, radio, TV, you just hear, oh, so many cases, be careful, this restaurant closing. So people are really afraid to travel around, like in their towns, like going to restaurants. So technically, before 6 o'clock, you can still sit down and eat at a restaurant. But nowadays, even morning, afternoon, or tea time, restaurants are pretty much empty. People are afraid to, afraid to go out and eat, and the streets are pretty empty. One of my friends took some photos of the MTR. So MTR is a subway system. So subway system is Hong Kong's main artery lines. Everybody takes uh, everybody takes the MTR subway, but during office peak hours, my friend just said, "Wow, I gotta show you what's going on because it's crazy." So he went to the Chim Sa Choi TST, and this is the peak hours. So I hope you guys can see what's going on. Uh, yeah. So this is pretty much empty. You guys can you see this, or it's too bright? Yeah. Anyways, I for my patrons, I put all these pictures on. You can just go to the site and check it out if you can. And I appreciate you guys supporting my work. Awesome. So MTR during business, peak hour traffic empty. That's crazy. Yeah, the MTR. Yeah, Jesse, you know better than me, right? And all these and all the flights between Hong Kong and Canada and the US has been there's a complete stop. But so now, usually I take Cathay Pacific, so they will have one flight per month from Hong Kong going to North America. That's it, one flight per month, and zero flights from North America to Hong Kong. So that's sad. And if you are leaving from United States going to Hong Kong, you have to stay at the government facility at Penny Bay for like 14 days. And after that 14 days, that's a hellhole, okay? It's not nice. The food is no good. They got mass food poisoning before because they didn't handle the food well. They left it outside for a long time and just gave it, because you can't even walk out the room, right? And the catering is so disorganized inside. Nobody's removing the trash. The workers are just clueless because there's so many people moving in and out. So that is a very sad thing. So for Canada, you have to stay in a paid facility like a hotel. So you probably have to pay like 3-4 grand minimum for the 14 days, or maybe even more than that, 6,000 Canadian for 14 days. And after that, you have to stay at your own home or residence or friend's place for another 7 days. And so they'll monitor you every day. So that's basically 21 days. Yes, Jesse, 21 days is very sad. Yeah. So hope you guys, because I don't know how to tell you guys that I'm doing a live. So I just put it on the community post. So I hope next time if you can press the little bell. So if I put a post, you might see that. But I'm learning the OBS, the system, how to do it. Uh, yes. How's Canada? No panic buying. Actually, there's not. I don't feel that there's a panic buying, but I feel that the shelves are pretty much empty and the prices in the supermarket are really high. And I just got so pissed, I said, what the frickin' frick, is going on? When you start paying like $4.50 US for a lettuce, okay, not organic, just a regular lettuce imported from the States, and it's just gone mad. Or you buy, I made some coleslaw, head of cabbage, that big, not just a regular medium-sized cabbage. It's like 375 US. So that's absolutely crazy. And you can see on the shelves, they're pretty bare actually. There's not very much stocked items on it. And plus another thing is I want to tell you guys, my wife has been saying, hey, why don't you get Rice Krispies? So my Patreon did some research. I was talking to him. He said, oh, there's a strike since last November. So last November there's a strike. So they're not making Rice Krispies. So they only sell them in this little variety pack. But I'm sure my friends all over the world right here can't find a box of Rice Krispies. So that sucks. Yeah, just remember I did the quarantine 21 days in Hong Kong in a hotel. It's crazy. 3 slices of lemon in an empty cup. And then they say, oh, well, by the way, that hotel, it's been closed down, shut down. They can't afford to pay the rent. So now I think more than 50% of the stores in Hong Kong are completely out of business. And the thing is, not saying, the Hong Kongers are saying all the land developers in Hong Kong are really heartless. The Hong Kongers, Chinese Hong Kong land developers, because on the shop fronts and on the rent, they're raising rent. So after the Chinese New Year, they're actually raising rent. So these guys are already really bad in business. They're not even hardly making money, but I'm just telling what I heard, okay, on the news. And now, Taiku. So Taiku is a English company. They established, before during the colonial days. They, Pacific Place, Festival Mall, many other malls that owned by Taiku City. They're actually um, they're actually not charging rent during this period. And those malls are like 5-star malls, okay? So they're saying, well, actually people from the Western companies from the West are really doing the Hong Kong retailers a favor for not charging rent. And they don't believe how the local Hong Kong developers are still increasing the rent. But I understand why they are not doing that, because if a shop front, they don't increase the rent, the bank would the bank would evaluate your 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 storefront, that how much is it worth, right? So if you decrease rent, your storefront will depreciate. So if you depreciate on the storefront, the bank would probably call your loan, because it's not valued, the value has gone much lower than the original price you loaned out, and they consider that as a risk. So for the developers in Hong Kong, it's a threat from the bank, because it'll be devaluing too much. If they call the loans, these land developers will have issues, because they have to call the loans, and there will be a big meltdown on the Hong Kong, retail shop market. So I understand this point. Yep. Daredevil, any plans to see Serpent ZA Seal Milk? Yeah, I had it 2 years ago. Yeah, they were cool, man. I miss those guys. Um, Actually, Wilson, when he went back to San Diego, I was the one who took him to the airport. So I picked him up from Shenzhen, and then I took him to the Hong Kong airport and sent him off. So that was very interesting. And when I planned to visit him, the coronavirus really hit the spot. So everything was on lockdown. Everything, all hell broke loose. Yeah, and my mother, unfortunately, she passed from COVID too, and after that, I just went into a really depression mode. Just, yeah, I miss those guys. Yeah, they're awesome. My Patreon link is returning a 404 era. Oh my God. Oh crap, that's no good. What's going on, man? Yeah, but if you search brown dash I, I'm sure you'll probably find me on the page. Yeah, so appreciate even you guys looking up on my Patreon page. Yeah, appreciate that. That's so awesome of you guys. I don't know, can I edit this again? No, it's so weird. So let me. Yeah, it's so weird that I can't. Yeah, so if you can search me out, I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Jess. You're awesome. Yeah, Jess always helps me out. Yeah, so if you guys can, you don't have to. I understand it's not good. I mean, the economy is not good. People have been losing their jobs, and I'm not asking a payment for every month or any of that. If you feel like it can be a one-time, treat me a cup of coffee or whatever, But any donations or support to my channel is a really huge thumbs up for me. It really brightens up my day. It's not the amount that it will help me. It's just I know people really go to that extra trouble for, going out. So yeah, yeah, my mom is. It's. I have no comment. Mom was already sick, um, and she had problems breathing. And the first time, actually, she went in the hospital twice through ambulance. So first time, she said, "Oh, I can't breathe," had some water in the lungs. And then I told her, um, she said, "I'll call the ambulance. I want to go in the hospital." Blah blah blah. And I told my mom, it's not a good time to go to hospital, because you probably get the coronavirus and die. I was really, I was, there's no joke, I was very serious. She said, but I I can't, it's really painful, blah, 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 blah. Okay, she went in for 1 week. She felt a lot better. So that was awesome, wasn't it? So she came back. I picked her up from the hospital. She came back. And then after 2 weeks, the hospital called. She said on the senior ward, a lot of people tested positive for the coronavirus. And oh crap, I said, that's unbelievable. So you have to take your mom ASAP to have her checked out. So we took her to the government center for the COVID test, and they looked at the O2 sensor, the oxygen on the blood, and she was seriously low. It was no good. And so I took her to emergency right away, and she lasted only like 2 days, 3 days. And the sad thing is, till now, this is the main thing. I'm really depressed. Is she was on an isolation ward, so in a room nobody can go in, and all we have to do is just to beg the nurse to go on FaceTime or something like that to see my mom. And we managed to get on FaceTime one time because the nurses over there was so busy. It's a public hospital, so what do you expect, right? And we just had to like say, hey, hope you feel better. And then the doctor calls. She said we already put her on maximum oxygen. She couldn't, you know, take the oxygen anymore. We're trying our best, but I don't think she'll make it. She'll last until next morning. And we did another video, and mom gave us a big smile, and that was it. It was so sad, man. I'm just devastated. Well, anyway, that but she's with dad now, and even before, when my dad left like 12, 13 years ago, my mom always sat next to his picture and said, I want to join you, wait for me, I'm coming, and all that. When couples are with there's we've married together for such a long time, and they just miss each other. That's why when you hear the other people's story, when one dies, the other one dies real quick. But mom was so strong, she hanged on for like 13 years at least. So bless her heart. I hope she'll be a lot better in heaven. And even now, people telling me, and even I had dreams when I see my parents, they're in the prime shape when I see them in the dream. And yeah, they look different. They look much more healthier. They look top notch. So I don't know, do you guys believe in that? But I sure do believe it, because uh, yeah, this is truth. Anyway, this is off subject, but that was the thing that really broke me down. And luckily, I didn't get to go to a mental hospital or anything. But I know a few of my cousins. They really got submitted to a mental institute, and because of the coronavirus and dealing with deaths in the family. And I try to help them and stuff like that too. So yeah, it's not a fun thing. Hi, Periel. MTR is empty. Does that mean most people aren't working? Yeah, people working from home. Yeah, thank you very much, Neil Stat 10. Yeah, that's the story of my life. It's pretty sad. I did that, long on my Patreon too. So usually on my public channel here, um, I do more broad covering. I hardly go really personal with my personal life, personal things. But I think it's time to share a little bit what happened, to me. Basically, it's a very sad ordeal. So if you guys can have a chance to look at my Patreon, I would really appreciate it. Don't have to do a monthly thing or whatever. Just come in, just take a look or whatever, because I know Patreon can be painful. Like, I don't want to commit every month and all that. So, as I said before, there's one guy on Patreon. I don't know who that is. He gave me more than a year's payment for my total, all my patrons there. There's not much, but still there are my loyal patrons. Just this one-time payment is an overkill. It's like more than a year's payment of all my supporters. So I'm so grateful. And then I have a new Patreon, a couple of weeks ago. His name is Andrew. So hi, Andrew. Welcome to my Patreon. And appreciate your pledge to me. And he's a animal lover now. So he told me he got a two cocker spaniel, really cute puppies, and he's really loving them, keeping him occupied, and there's a lot of love for him. And he stays at the UK. So again, thank you very much, Andrew. And another, hey, Chad. Yeah, I hope you can catch me a bit early. So I took one of your comments seriously. I wanted to, you know, do this a little bit early so you guys on the East Coast can catch me up. Yeah, welcome, Chad. So another some of my patrons is Sunny. Sunny he's from the East Coast. Grady, he's my buddy. We always almost chat daily. He's an awesome guy. Yeah, he's just having health problems, and he's telling me, some teeth, and it's really pain in the ass, when you have teeth problems. So I wish you well. Hope you get better, Grady. And there's one supporter in Philippines. My Patreon. He's an old Patreon, and you know, I try to show appreciation to my patrons. Um, I try to send them some little things for appreciation. So uh, my patron in the Philippines, I go to Costco and I get some items and I send it over to the Philippines. So it's always nice to have something from Costco sent to the Philippines, right? So he was really happy, and yeah. So my patrons add me on Skype, so I can Skype with them too, right? And there's another one, Dennis Hink. Dennis is a really nice guy. He's a native North American, and he's actually been to Hong Kong. We went out, they had lunch together and all that. He's a farmer, I think, and where he comes from has really nice wild rice. So he sent me a few bags of wild rice too. So Dennis is an awesome guy. So these guys I really know personally. They're my friends personally. So if you can join, Patreon, it'll be awesome. Anyway, enough for that. So let's move on. So let's talk about Shenzhen. Move on. So I hope we have enough battery left on the camera just to make sure. So because I don't want to be cut off like last time. Um, because this camera doesn't charge while I'm filming. It only runs on the battery. So when you switch off the camera, it charges. So that really sucks. But I know this camera is has a good quality, so I can see my face better. I think. I don't know. I don't even look good now. And people are saying my wife is really complaining about my goatee. She says, "You look like a beggar. You look like a homeless. Shave it off because it's disgusting." So that's the comment I get every day. Yeah. But now I'm trying to make it more tidy. I got some beard oil just to moisten it up a little bit. Okay, so in Shenzhen, um, my friends in Shenzhen, actually, some of my Shenzhen friends are really awesome. So the mainland Chinese, I can see in North America a lot of hate for China because of the coronavirus, the CCP, and everything like that. And I feel them, and I like to be as neutral as possible. Okay, but I don't want to talk about the CCP. So it's for you guys to research. But what I know about the mainland Chinese citizens, they are really awesome people. Of course, there are scammers and scumbags, right? But the ones I know are really awesome. For example, there's beer that man makes the man. I'm a half a man. Yeah, Chad. So there's in Huaqiang Bay, Shenzhen Electronic City. I always used to go there, and there's a girl, young girl, no boyfriend, young. She's like 26, and she always talked to me. So we become friends and like that. And the thing is, she's really awesome because I shop off Taobao, so that's like the Amazon Chinese version of Amazon, but it's a lot cheaper. It's way cheaper. Okay, there's no comparison. But you can't ship these things out of the country because it's really expensive. So what she does for me is she collects all my stuff. I'd send it to her address, and then she puts it in a box and she sends it back to me. So that's where I get all my fun stuff for a really good cheap price. Because if I get all my stuff from Amazon, it'll go broke. I'll go broke. But unless it's urgent or something I really want to get quickly, I will get. So for example, like I get some gifts for the chopsticks. So you look at the link. So these are the chopstick sets. Some are really expensive. I saw like 3,000 US for a pair. So you guys check it out. Why is it so expensive? I don't know. But some of these things are really. Hey, Sonny. So remember Sonny? He's one of my loyal Patreons. Hi, welcome aboard. Yeah, I think I got to do my live earlier, okay, guys? Yeah, welcome aboard. Thank you very much for coming on board. I'm catching my East Coast buddies here, so I'm just really happy today. Yeah, so if you miss out a little bit, please rewatch this and see what I'm babbling about, right? So this girl is really nice. She sends me pictures actually. So she shows me So Sonny, have you seen the pictures on my Patreon? So I showed a few pictures that she took for me in Shenzhen. So people, what they're doing now in Shenzhen and Hong Kong, are they doing? You have to do a COVID test every day. So that really sucks. So the lady, she's called Miss Lin. So Miss Lin is my friend, 26 years old, young girl, no girlfriend, no boyfriend. I'm not dating her or anything. No, no, no. She's just helping me as a friend, help each other out. And because, just a quick, off track thing, she really appreciated it because she's changed her business. She sells telescopes before at Huachuan Bay, so she can't even run her business basically because they're always locked down. And now the stock, you can't even take it out of the warehouse because everything's on lockdown. And so she's doing cooperating with factories that sell these spotlights on the trucks. So all these fog lights, spotlight yellow ones, LEDs, whatever. So she is doing business on Alibaba. So she's selling these wholesale to North American market or even in Europe. So in mainland China, she has nothing on her phone that can communicate except WeChat. And a lot of clients don't want to do WeChat on their phones, right? I don't know why, but maybe you can find out why. Okay, I don't use too much WeChat either. So they talk in they talk on WhatsApp. So they use WhatsApp mainly for communications. So I got her a phone in Hong Kong. Um, okay, this might be illegal. Okay, but I got her a phone in Hong Kong. I opened an account on the Google Play. So I did the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp, all these things in a Gmail account. So she can use a VPN in mainland China and communicate with all their clients overseas. So she really appreciated. I helped her out, and you can't mail a phone to mainland China because of this thing. So I had my friend. So let's talk about my friend. He has a long story. Went to last couple of months. Okay, went to mainland China to have meetings because it's business there, right? So he went to Zhuhai, quarantined for 21 days, and then he sent my phone over the mail, okay, to the Miss Lin. So she received it, and the phone works perfect now. She's so happy. And then after 21 days, he went to Shenyang. So Shenyang for the meetings, okay. And after that, the city was on lockdown. So he stayed in Shenyang for 3 weeks. So he didn't make it back to Chinese New Year. So he spent like over 2 months in mainland China because of this silly one-day meeting, right? So, so he get back after the Chinese New Year. So that is a really sucky deal. Daredevil, you should tell your wife it's your Confucius beard. It's a sign of wisdom. Thank you so much. Yay! And a lot of people ask me, "Oh, why isn't your beard white or anything? Do you dye it?" No, I don't dye any colors or anything. So it's just natural. So I'll keep it until it changes white. How's that? so so my friend, that's a sucky deal. So Miss Lin gets her phone with all the apps that you guys have, right? So that's a sucky deal, and she's really nice and all that. So as I said, from the Taobao, you get a lot of cheap things, and yeah, so that's basically they're very nice. And she's told me now in Shenzhen these few days, okay, due to the Omicron, there's a full lockdown. So she cannot go out of her building. And there's another girl that left from Hong Kong to Shenzhen, so she did her 21-day quarantine, and she can't walk out of her door. So what happens is, gee, you really need, yeah, I really need you need to look for money blessing beard oil. Yeah, I got some beard oil, but they're kind of expensive. Like they're like 13, 14 bucks for a little bottle. But I try to use it because I feel it's like brittle or something like that. It doesn't feel good. Yeah, so she sent me pictures, and she says, and I think it's kind of biased in a way because, um, you know, depends on the area you live in, and are you in the outskirts or anything. So there's a class difference. I found out there's a class difference because uh, she's been telling me, a lot of people are saying that you have to buy your own groceries, but you have to call in and buy it, and the prices go up like 2-3 times. But for my friend, she lives in a nicer apartment in Shenzhen, so she lives in the Futian area. So what they do is they give her, like, every day they give her this. I don't know, can you see it properly? Let me try to zoom in. Here we go. So this is very hard to do. Maybe we can turn off the light a minute. Just hold on a second, and I'll turn this down. Wait a second, guys. Be patient with me because I really want to show you what's happening in Shenzhen. Okay, so this is what my friend gets every day, and she gets it for free. And she says she's really happy, and she gets McDonald's sent to her for free. So you can see a 5-piece nugget, a bun, and I think that's a yam pie. Can you see the yam pie, guys? And this is a supermarket before she left in Hong Kong. So this is, you have an empty cart and empty shelves. So that is Hong Kong panic buying. Look at that. Everything is empty, but plenty of chicken bouillon behind. Nobody's getting chicken bouillon. And this is the shelves. Look at that. That's right now in Hong Kong. That's crazy. So my friend is getting this. And another thing is, let's look at another friend, the Miss Lin. So Miss Lin doesn't, she's in more of a living in the commercial area. And she sent me videos. And she said, it's really crappy. So this is what's happening. Every day, people are trying to get in the Huacheng Bay. They're trying to get in to get their stock because they got to mail it overseas. But look, and then there's a big fire happened in Huacheng Bay, and she took this. See the guys trying to escape. So in Huacheng Bay, all hell, look at that. So my friend, actually, these are not forwarded messages. She actually sent me this. And that happened yesterday. So this is the latest news. What is happening in Shenzhen? Okay, we can turn the light back on, and yeah, thanks. My son is doing the camera for me, so everything makes life a lot easier. Thank you very much. So let's turn on the light. So I hope we have enough batteries. Yes, everything's good. Yeah, so basically Shenzhen is in the lockdown. So the lockdown is different. Hong Kong is much more relaxed, but they say they want to follow. And the main reason, okay, that's what everybody's saying, is Xi Jinping wants to visit Hong Kong in July, because I think it's some celebration of the handover of Hong Kong from the British. So he wants to come down during July. So that's why they're making Hong Kong really, they're copying, using the rules from mainland China, which is really sad. So another thing is, and somehow the government is leaking rumors, and when there's too much defiance, the government will come out and deny it. If you look at the Hong Kong news, this is the thing nowadays, and that really sucks. Yeah, and my Patreon, Sony, my longtime patrons, I got a little something for you guys, but I'll wait for a week and a half. Maybe I'll go down to the States and I'll mail it to you guys. Hope your address are still the same. If not, let me know. I'll message you individually on Patreon. Thank you very much. Yeah, check out those ramens on the link description. Yeah, and those $3,000 pair of chopsticks. I don't know why they're so expensive. So Grady, I even got you something special too. So I think Grady's not with us today, but yeah, I'll send him something too. So the difference between my Patreon is it's not a big group, so I communicate with them personally, so which is awesome. So basically, life in Hong Kong is hell now, and everybody's saying that, well, you're so lucky you went to North America now. You have the freedom, and it's unbelievable. Another thing is people already coming up with a sneaky plan to slip into Hong Kong. So what they do now, I don't know. Do you guys know? But you can still go to Hong Kong if I'm in North America. So what I need to do is take a flight to Singapore. So there's no Cathay Pacific flights or Air Canada. They don't go there. You have to go whatever city from North America, take a plane to Singapore. So in Singapore, you need a quarantine for 2 weeks. So after the 2 weeks, and then you can buy a ticket to Hong Kong. So when you go to Hong Kong, at least you can get a plane back to Hong Kong, and you have to quarantine for 14 days in Hong Kong and 14 days in a hotel. And after that, you quarantine another 17 days at a friend's place or a paid hotel at your own expenses. So you have to basically spend almost 2 months. You have basically spent 2 months of quarantining. So that's if people need to go back quick, but you can't go back quick, right? But at least you can get into Hong Kong that way. And it's very sad. Uh, yeah, just unbreakable Japanese style ramen bowl set of two. Yep, chopsticks, Miss Udon noodles. Yeah, see these bowls are so quick. You just pour in hot water. So the only fresh thing I put in these uh, ramen is just a couple of slices of ham or spam and a fried egg on top, and it'll make you a quick meal. Not too healthy, high on sodium, but sometimes a bit of junk food is okay, right? It's same as my Instagram. I try to post food that I eat or my family eats. But some of my like Chad, Chad's really concerned about my health because now I'm taking a few pills, drugs now, um, because of my health issues. So I lost a lot of weight. My waist was 36, now it's 30. So that's scary. But guys, did you know if you buy Levi's jeans, uh, keep the labels, keep the receipt, you can bring them back after 60 days. So the ones I got before, like the 33 waist, but they just can't keep on sliding off. So I just went there, I got my money back, and I got a new pair of Levi's on 30-inch waist. So that's obvious. Not sponsored or anything, but I use their services and it's awesome. Yep. So basically, thank you very much for watching. Hope you can support my channel in any way. Really thumbs up, and thank you for watching. Yeah, Chad. Thank you very much. So don't on Instagram some of my greasy foods and stuff like. Actually, I don't eat much of it. It's for my family. So you think, oh well, maybe I have diabetes and I shouldn't be eating all these sugary things. But um, sometimes I just take a little bit, but my family eats that. They have the health. My kid's a teenager. They have young. And last night I bought him a pack of Twinkies, and he's never had a Twinkie because you don't have Twinkies in Hong Kong, right? So if I gave him one, it's like that, Twinkies. It is cream filled, and it says, "Wow, it's delicious." But I can't imagine the sugar and all the calories from just one little Twinkie. So I'm happy he had a little Twinkie. Yeah, thank you, Jess. I really appreciate you being my administrator. You're always a legend, man. And thank you very much for subscribers for subscribing my channel. Ring that little bell if you can. So if I do a live or post a new video, so I'm gonna. I already had one of my videos up already on Patreon, and I'm gonna release that after this. You can check it out. Saving money on making soda. So now, before I drink Diet Coke and all that, but it's still not good for your body because your body thinks you're making a lot of sugar, so it produces a lot of insulin. So that's no good. So now I just put some soda of lime, and this soda machine, something you might consider because after I post a new video on this hack, you can check it out, and it's going to be really super cheap to make soda water. So anyway, I'm gonna signed off because of you guys. watching, and I think pretty much I covered every topic. If there's any good news in Hong Kong or Shenzhen mainland, I'll let you guys know with all these updated information. And thanks my son for helping me out. Okay, signing off. And the time now, PST is 7:20. Thank you very much, guys. You guys have an awesome weekend. Bye bye.